Hey everyone, it's June 20th, about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. And first of all, the video is not investment advice. And second of all, I think what we're seeing here is almost a duplication of a very similar pattern. So like we had this run right here, and it looks like we're almost duplicating that same exact pattern. Now we can see how that one panned out, and we're kind of seeing that same price. The price is not like the volume is not following price, if that makes sense. So one thing I noticed, and I talked about in my prior videos when I described this area when Bitcoin was making this move, is that volume kept going up and volume kept coming down. Volume kept going up, coming down, coming out, coming down. So as price is working its way up, the volume's disintegrating very fast. And I said it was like somebody sold you something, and then as soon as you paid them cash, they immediately did a 180 and just took off running as fast as they possibly could. And they wanted nothing to do with it. Now, that's the way I feel about Bitcoin and what's happening here. So we got a nice spike, my subs and I, we got in the trade again. We got in over here and we took advantage of it, and it was, it's a good trade. But the problem is that as a price is increasing, the volume is like just slowly disintegrating. It's kind of like quicksand is forming on this chart, and that leaves me very worried about the future of Bitcoin on the short-term side, right? I'm not talking about long-term. I can't predict the future. But what I've seen is when this happens, when price increases and volume decreases, or they're not in sync, then it always follows volume. Because if less and less people are buying at that level, how do you expect it to go any higher? It doesn't make sense at all. So that's what we're seeing here. Now, we could see a big push and that volume increase at any moment. So it's not like it's the nail in the coffin, but it is a market to where we have to be worried if we're seeing a duplication not only in pattern but in price action as well. I mean, this is almost to a T right now what I'm seeing happen between volume and price, and it's very scary because if we do drop out like we dropped out back here in this bear flag, and this turns into a bear flag and we drop out, we could be slicing through 6,000 like nothing. I mean, look how big of a move this produced. This small little bear flag right here, which, and I mean small as in height, yes, the length of it is big, but the height is very small. This produced a giant move to the downside. So if we start moving up like this, stretching, and then boom, fall out and collapse, we could easily slice through 6,000 like a hot knife through butter. And the volume's not there. If the volume was there, I would feel great about this move going much higher. But like I've said in my prior videos, I have very low expectations that price is going to get above 7,800. The only way I see it getting above 7,800 is if we get a $1,000 bar, or we get a series of $500 bars to pop us and push us above that zone. Other than that, I do not see this area cracking. And even if it does, it would be a slight crack and then a quick reversal right after. But I see this being a very, very heavy resistance point for Bitcoin. So, and then we have 9,990, which is the prior top of this run that we're now on the backside of, and I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that anytime soon. Now, let me kind of back out the chart a little bit. So we have the red downtrend line, right? We have the selling pressure. It almost looks like we're trying to form a base here in Bitcoin, and everything's kind of looking good, but the volume's just very lackluster on these pops at the moment. So, like I said, it can change at any time. And that's why you have to be flexible when you're a trader. You have to be able to look at both sides of the trade and then adjust your strategy accordingly. And if you're wrong, you can always switch sides, or you can sit on the sidelines, wait for something you recognize, and take advantage of that. Now, the other thing we see is like after the bubble top, we see that the runs have gotten longer and also smaller in height, which is kind of like a fizzling in price. And the way I talk about it is like after you have a bubble, you have a return to normalization. that return to normalization is a basing pattern, and that can take a lot of time. Time is the biggest element here, and I talk about that in all my videos, and I'm going to keep talking about it because not a lot of people are going to expect it or want to endure it. But it's going to require a lot of time. So as we move horizontally, we're going to have to chew through time and space to build the energy necessary to start to move back up to eventually rival the top of 9,990, 11,700, 17,000, 20,000, and some other crazy number beyond that. That's if the market is bottoming here and we are building that base on this horizontal plane right here, okay? So that's what I see from the bigger picture. And then as we zoom in, basically, I feel like we're either trying to form a bottom and we'll start to go more horizontal in nature, or we're forming another bear flag and literally producing the same exact price action we did here, okay? And that's not going to be a good sign at all, because if we do break down, it will be a brutal move. And what happens below 6,000, I don't know. You know, I think we could stop maybe in mid fives, maybe the low fives, like 5,000 flat or something like that. But I think it's really anyone's guess, because if we break the 2018 low on Bitcoin, which is the juggernaut of the cryptocurrency market right now, whether people like it or not, or want it to be or not, it doesn't matter. This is like the biggest, this is like the most well-known coin. This is where a lot of the volume is trading every single day. We had $3.9 billion in transactions. That's a lot in volume for a 24-hour period. This is by far the biggest of the bunch. So if Bitcoin starts to topple over and cut through 6,000, it would make me believe the rest of the market is going to go on one heck of a ride off a waterfall. And where we stop, I don't know. I don't want to try to guess now. What I'd like to see is how price reacts if we do cut through that zone, to try to determine on the severity of the drop. So if we just waterfall and all of a sudden we teardrop through, I mean, we could easily slice through much deeper than the 5,000 range. So there's a lot of different factors that need to be accounted for. However, there's still the possibility we do continue the move up, but I really want to see the volume increase in price here, right? So that's what's scaring me the most on Bitcoin's run. And like I said in my prior video, it's like I'm talking a little more bullish about price action, but I don't want it to seem that way, because right now I feel like we're skating on thin ice, especially with the duplication of a bear flag and the duplication of price action in Bitcoin. So as of now, if you are trading this market, just be cautious, because we're literally seeing a duplication. And if we start to crack through the uptrend line, even though it's a very basic uptrend line, it's going to be very revealing on what's happening in price. So if you remember my prior videos, I talked about this downtrend line. Price is going down, moving downward, right? We're trying to fight it. We keep bursting through it, coming back to it, bursting through it, blah, blah, blah. If we start to collapse yet once again and follow the same path and the same downtrend, what that's telling you is there's more selling pressure than there is buying pressure in the market. And that's what these lines show you. They're very basic. You know, I'm not using like lagging indicators or anything like moving averages or anything like that. I'm just showing you the frequency of price. I'm showing you the possibilities of where it could go, and I'm giving you the numbers to look for. And as of now, basically the uptrend line would need to be invalidated below about 6,500, maybe 6,550 on Bitfinex. If we do break below that, then more than likely we're going to continue downward, and it should not be a I don't think 6,000 is going to hold if we produce that move to the downside. The upside, I don't know exactly where we're going to top out. I'll have to kind of wait and see as price starts to top out. But I do have very, 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 very low expectations that price will break above 7,800, especially with what I'm seeing in the price action in the volume. So I know I said that about 35 different times in a bunch of different variations, but I have to drive certain points home for people to really understand what's going to happen. So at the end of the day, I still think we're trying to form an uptrend. We broke through the downtrend line, okay? We did it with very little conviction yet once again, but it looks like we're getting the pushes to the upside we need to try to get this market kick-started to starting another run back up, okay? If this fails, it's not going to be good at all for Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So that's it for tonight. I'll produce another video tomorrow evening. I thank everybody for their time, their support. If you do like the videos, please like, comment, subscribe, depending on what social media platform you're on. And then also, too, if you've not joined the Slack channel, it's absolutely free. There's over 350 members from across the globe. Everyone's extremely friendly. It's just a nice community that's cryptocurrency oriented. You can go to my site, geometriccharts.com. At the bottom, I have my link to my social media accounts as well as the Slack channel there, too. And if you're looking for something a little more in depth where I talk about specific numbers, stops, entries, etc., I do have a subscription service that's focused on cryptocurrency, various coins, as well as Bitcoin, stocks, commodities, and Forex too. You can read more about that at geometriccharts.com. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email or just ask in the comments section. If I do get time, I will get back to you as quick as I possibly can. But other than that, have a great day, great night, depending on where you are in the world. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support.